Golf Central on YouTube is brought to you by the new Chrome Tour golf ball from Callaway.
Hello, I'm Anna Jackson and this is your Golf Central update. Well, we've got a big change of venue between the two legs of the Hawaii swing this week. Here it is by the numbers. Taking a look, the par drops from 73 to 70 and the length of the course drops 2, an almost 600-yard difference. You've then got the green sizes as well that shrink as well. 38 players are playing both tournaments this month, and despite the differences, they believe they'll have an advantage.
Well, I think it requires accuracy off the tee and elite wedge play, because when you do get the ball in the fairway with a wedge in your hand, you need to make birdie because the scores are pretty low over there. So, it's a flat walk as well. And so after this week, it couldn't be more of a different golf course.
I think Waialae, like when it gets firm, it's you really have to plot your way around, which I like. And it can get really firm there. It looks like we're going to get some rain, so I don't know if it'll quite play like that. But you just have to kind of hit it in the right spots off the tees, and kind of takes driver out of your hands on several holes. And it's kind of more of a strategic week, as opposed to here you're hitting a lot of drivers and kind of busting it down there and having wedges in.
Is it an advantage playing Waialae after you play Kapalua?
Maybe getting used to the wind. But they're very different golf courses. I mean, you come out here and you're looking at fairways that some of these fairways I feel like they're 100 yards wide, and then you get to Waialae and they all look like they're about 15 yards wide. So that to me always feels like it's a little tough going to Waialae after seeing these wide fairways. But playing in the wind and getting used to kind of the grass, time change, all that is obviously a bonus.
Yeah, Waialae I'm a bit more familiar with than this tournament, funnily enough. I've probably not played it many times, but maybe 4 or 5 times in my career, and I really like it. I think it's a good old school traditional golf course, some crosswinds, can play quite tricky at times. So yeah, I think it's a totally different test to Kapalua. It's a golf course that suits the whole field. Some golf courses are bombers' paradises, for example, and I think that Waialae kind of gives everybody in the field an opportunity to do well, an opportunity to win. But I think it obviously early in the season you've got to be mentally sharp. Fairways are quite small. Bermuda rough always presents a challenge. So. And if it is breezy, it's a tough golf course. So I think if you can come in there mentally sharper than the rest of the guys, I think you have an opportunity to do well.
And you've got Will Zalatoris back in action this week after missing most of 2023 with a back injury. He's also testing out his new broomstick-style putter, and Todd Lewis caught up with Zalatoris in Hawaii before his start at the Sony Open.
It's more now, since it's been almost 8 full months, I'm swinging different, but it's way more efficient. I hit 50 drivers in a row, over a couple of days ago. My caddy Joel came in town and we were just trying to figure out maybe a setting on my driver, and I felt fine the next day. But the difference is that I would even say that I probably wouldn't even give myself the time to recover, and then I'd go back out and do the same thing the next day. So I think it's more maturity than it is not doing doing something I couldn't do before. I mean, I was able to, pop off 125 mile an hour club head speed, but I'd be hitting it everywhere. But, now it's just so much more efficient, and it's way more rotary or more horizontal in turn, way less vertical, which makes it easier on my back. And so, like I said, it's just different, and it's just kind of a level of maturity that, I don't, when you get out on tour, you want to work hard, you want to work as hard as you possibly can, and I would keep doing it day in, day out, and wouldn't give myself the time to recover. But I think now it's, instead of working harder, it's working smarter.
You've always been a passionate player. After the surgery and you were going through rehab and the long wait for recovery, did that elevate your hunger or passion at all?
Yeah, it was, for the first probably 3-4 months, it was just getting back to just living. Being able to just do the dishes at home, simple things like that.
You do dishes?
Shockingly, not well either, if you ask my wife, but and definitely play the hide and seek game where I put stuff that doesn't belong where it goes. But no, I mean, it was just simple stuff, like not being able to walk one of our dogs just in case, maybe, we got a puppy a couple years ago, and if I pulled, if she pulled, maybe I might pull something. So it was just overly cautious, and so it was mainly getting back to living, and then finally it got back to, all right, I'm ready to play golf again. And watching these guys, week in, week out, where normally I wouldn't watch any golf, was kind of fun. But at the same time, I was also still around the game, just given everything that's been going on with the game over the last 7 months. So, I was still in it, even though I wasn't really around it, but my mind was, every day was always around golf.
This is your first PGA Tour start since surgery, but you did play the Hero World Challenge. What did you digest from all of that?
Yeah, I think the biggest change between coming back at the beginning of last year and then this comeback was I kind of got away from my DNA as a ball striker. I was trying to change things that I don't think really would have helped me in terms of my back, but I actually, at the time, I thought they did. And I just got back to who I was. I made sure, I was able to spend a very brief amount of time with Tiger in September up at the Nexus Cup, and he gave me a few little tidbits about, he, had the same surgeon that I did, and, the recovery that he went through was obviously way more extensive than mine, but, the biggest advice that he gave me was, you don't need to go digesting and go find, something that's hidden. If you have to put a camera that's on your rear end, where most of the time cameras are on either face on or down the line, just to make sure that you're turning properly, you're not putting stress on your back. That's as valuable as any other 3D or anything like that. So really just owning what I'm doing and making it as efficient as possible. And it feels simple now, whereas before it was very complicated. It was trying to do something that I had a hard time quantifying. So now it's just, like I said, the simplicity of what I'm doing is something that's is invaluable.
Well, it was Eric Cole who had a meteoric rise last season. It took him more than a decade after turning pro to earn his PGA Tour card, and he took full advantage of it last season. He ended up winning the Arnold Palmer Award as the PGA Tour Rookie of the Year, but is not the first Rookie of the Year in his family. He joined his mother, Laura Bohr, who won the LPGA Award back in 1973. Now, Cole is the second oldest Rookie of the Year on tour. He was the only rookie last year to make the second stage of the FedEx Cup playoffs. 37 starts for Cole last season. As you take a look at this, 2 runner-ups, 7 top 10s and 14 top 25s, as Cole talked with Damon Hack and Eamon Lynch on Golf Today.
What did you learn in your rookie year that you think is going to be most advantageous to you going forward?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I really learned it recently, but I kind of figured, and just from being around my parents and stuff and some older players, that a lot of times the game that gets you to the PGA Tour, if you just try not to change too much, you can have success with out here. So that's been a big goal of mine, is to change still try and get better and still try and make improvements, but to change as little as possible and kind of stick with what got you there and who you are as a player.
On that subject of getting better, you've had a year playing against the best players in the world week in, week out. So when you headed for the off-season, a very short off-season by the sounds of it, what were you working on thinking that this is where you had the most headroom for improvement for 2024?
Yeah, I kind of looked at my stats from last year, and most of them were pretty good, but I felt like I could drive the ball a little bit better. So put a little bit of focus on that, and then just from there kind of tried to refine the little bits that could have a little bit of improvement, some short game stuff, and just making sure that I was kind of sharp and ready to go for the start of this year.